Hi everyone, I am Dante. I will talk about unit testing with Angular. Also, I will talk about a personal project that I hope to be a major shift in our development process. I started to this personal project, Unicron, because we need to apply the same core values of clean code in our backend and in our front end. Sorry. So for that reason, I take or start a project, Starscream. I delete all the front end that we have in Starscream, and I begin from zero because I want to refactor all that with unit testing and another stuff that I will show you in this presentation and tomorrow also. So the unit testing with Angular is very easy. Please, to getting starting with this project, please download the Unicron project. Is in the GitHub repository and follow the instruction described on README. Maybe you can have some issues with the node installation because currently the 12.2 has some troubles with some gold package that I use, so you have to downgrade to the 12 version. So the unit testing with Angular is very easy because Angular was designed by Misko Everis. Misko Everis is a person with certain fame, very famous in the Java community because he write a lot of frameworks of dependency injection, and he helped to shape the concept of dependency injection in our modern language. Also, he write a guide to write the stable code. So when he write Angular, he bring all that stuff from the backend to the front end because he felt that the development in the front end is failing in that things. So Angular is has many hooks to to write proper unit testing. JavaScript has many frameworks also to write unit testing. I use the following frameworks. I use Karma, has my test runner. I use, sorry, I use Mocha, has my unit testing or BDD testing framework. Instead of Jasmine, I will talk about the difference about both frameworks. I use Chai, like my assertion library, and I use Sinon as my mockup library. So, what is Karma? Karma is my test runner. Is almost de facto test runner for the JavaScript front-end development for use real browsers. It's very fast. It's configurable and has a lot of plugins. That is a major point to use Karma. What is Mocha? Well, in the JavaScript community, you can choose Mocha or Jasmine. Both are the most popular. Mocha has the same style as Jasmine, but the principal difference is the Mocha is very configurable. You can choose to configure Mocha to use unit testing or use BDD style testing. Mocha doesn't have a assertion library. You can choose any assertion library for JavaScript and put on Mocha. Jasmine has the assertion library built in. Also, Jasmine has a mockup library. Mocha doesn't have that, so you can use any library if you choose. I use Sinon for that, and also Mocha can run on browser and server. For that reason, I choose Mocha. Chai, what is Chai? Chai is my assertion library. Chai has two major ways to write. the spec library and tool library. The spec is more unit testing style. Is something related with the El Mago talk. You choose a spec when you are writing unit testing, but you choose tool if you write BDD style. SignOnJS is my mockup library. Has three major styles of mocking. I use is more near to the classic definition of mocking, writing in the unit testing style. I have a spice, I have stops, and I have mocks. The principal difference is that spice only can assert if certain method is called. A stop is a is a way to replace or influence the running style of your code, returning certain things that you like to test, and mocks that is more complicated object because mock are a testing object that do you need to assert certain behavior. In practice, never you should use mocks. You only should use spice and stops in practice because it's a common understanding that if you use mocks, your unit testing or your BDD testing is bad because you don't have to test mocks, behaviors, or interactions. You need to test only returning or returning values, only that. Only is more related, that concept, with the functional style. You need to be more functional to achieve your more quality in your code. Okay. Gracias. I will perform a demo, but before I start the demo, I need to talk about Unicron because I need to provide a certain context because I need to, do you understand the structure of this project? First, the name. Here is a chart about the size of the transformers. We choose Unicron because, well, Byron likes the bad transformers, the evil transformers. And we chose Unicron because the size and the size of this project, and because this is a major turning point in our development process. Because of that, we choose the most glorious, if you see that, transformer. This is the repository. As I say, it has the same backend that has a start screen. Here's the instructions to install. I am following this style guide provided and written by John Papa. This style guide was presented on this year on the NG conference and is becoming very popular because resume the best practice that as a developers of Angular application we need to follow to structure a better application. Yes. Unicron use automatic text task runner, Gulp, to provide a better environment for development. Exists Gulp, exists Grunt, and exists Broccoli now. Doesn't matter which you choose. Simply choose one. You need to automatize. You need to do these things because the development is hard, and these tools save a lot of time of minor things that, but that minor things provides a great impact in the development. So I have two major tasks. The first is called Gulp specs HTML that run all this build all the specifications, compile my TypeScript, because Unicron is written in TypeScript. I am linting my HTML. I am injecting font. I am reducing image. Sorry. I am using less because we need to write, we need to choose a tool or a framework to write better CSS. Did you see this? All the tests is passed, and this is the Unicron presentation when you are developing. This is the task that you will be running when you are writing code, because you have all the code here, both the JavaScript version and the TypeScript version. You can debug in your browser. Fine. And the second major task is the release task. That this task, what will perform is concatenate all the JavaScript, uglify all the JavaScript, and append a hash to allow an easily conversion and or migration to or user that are using our application, that in that way they will not be affected by the browser cache. I will show you when this task is finished. This task takes a lot of time because I am uglify my JavaScript. It's a heavy process. I am using template cache also. You will not see any HTML in the source of the browser, because template cache is a cache for Angular that saves the need that the client goes to the browser, to the for the server, to ask a static resource. So with template cache, our application will be more fast. You will see the difference here. Here is the concatenated and uglified JavaScript code. I have only two libraries of JavaScript: app for our code and live for the library code. I am using Bower to install all the dependencies and libraries that we need. You will never download manually or libraries, because only that Bower do all the work for us. You only type the Bower install library. And also have my CSS files, my app file. This is a compiled CSS from my less file. And this is the CSS from Bootstrap that I am using. Fine. That is a higher overview of the task of Unicron. So I will proceed with the example of unit testing. So, sorry, before that, I need to explain also the structure of the application. Okay, since we are using a task for injecting dependencies of we call my index HTML will be empty, do you see? Because all when you write a controller, when you write a service, Gulp take that file and inject in the index HTML. You will not write anymore anything in this file. I am changing our way to organize our application because actually we are using a organization called per type. Per type is controllers, a directory for controllers, a directory for service, and directory for sorry um, other things, but is organized by type. I am organized by filter because in that way it's more easily to spot and find things in our code. If do you see users? User is the major feature that to organize things related with the user management, because I have the forgot password, I have the home, I have the login, I have the logout, and I have this controller, this silly controller that I write to start this application because when I start, I don't have anything of that. I only need a controller to ensure that the things is in the right way connected with Gulp. The common feature is things that are common for all our application. Is the exception handlers, the HTTP queue to handle the calls to our backend, the logger service, the router service also. I am organizing the things around modules because this is the recommended way to organize things in Angular. I also has my core. I have my HTTP interceptors, and I define my constants. My constants are the libraries that I am using, and I am using this factory to get and set the current user that are logging. My layout directory that has all related with the sidebar, the layout of the entire application, and also have my widgets. The widgets are my directives. I have special directives to ensure to reuse my code of from views. Fine. Okay, I have this directory called specs that I have this. The specs directory has the same organization that has the app directory, because I am saving all the, it's a common pattern used to organize my test. So I will I have this history to the demo. As a user, I should be able to use my username and password to log in Unicron. If I check that I want to be remembered on the site, my credential will be saved for later. So, for accomplish this history, we need two things in Angular. I need a service to communicate with our backend and serve our credentials, and a controller that can support all the action of the user. So I am using brackets also. Brackets is a new IDE, more in the way that is Sublime. I don't like Visual Studio to write front end, because I feel that Visual Studio, the tools of Visual Studio is lacking of appealing for code for this code. I think Visual Studio is better to write backend. Okay, so I will start. ¿Puedo continuar hablando? Okay. Uh, well, I am using TypeScript. I need to write a service that communicate with our backend to retrieve the user credentials. I have written that service already because I only need a demo for writing unit test. So, well, okay, I will show you first the service. Okay, the first things is okay. The first things I need is write a class because that have my requested operations to support my login. So I will write first an interface calling I. Okay, perfect. I will write this interface called iLogin user service that have the method iLogin is. This is to provide a blueprint to any. No. Brackets. Oh. No. Oh, increase font size. Sí, yes. Por el logo de Chrome. Okay. Sí. There. Okay, start again. How we write a service in TypeScript for Angular? First, do you need to import the definition of Angular? The definition is are libraries. Very important to write code for libraries written in JavaScript natively. We have the following repository called definite title. That in this repository you can find any kind of libraries. They are only typed. The only function of these libraries is type, provide a type to a better user experience when you are programming TypeScript. Only that. If you have a library that doesn't have a type, don't matter. TypeScript will not complain about that. Okay. Later, I import my user module that has the way that the user is loaded is a module for Angular. I write a login request interface because I am following the C# rules to write a a typed version of the request is not for JavaScript. It's more for our users or developer user, because with this interface, they can have a better understanding of what they expect. I have my response also typed, what the user will have, and the interface that is implemented in my login service. This is the class that implements my interface. I am using in entire the project this notation. This notation is very important, and please pay very attention on this, because when you are uglifying your code with Angular 1, you need to follow certain rules, because the process of uglify code in JavaScript is change the name of the variables to shorten, to decrease the size of the library. So with this notation, you will not be affected by the uglify process. If you not write this in this way, your controller, your servers, and everything you write will be bad uglified by the process. So this is important. I have my constructor. I am injecting my HTTP queue service, and this is the method that will be called when you log in. I am performing a post, and I am returning the response. And here I am registering my service in this line. This is almost a canonical way to perform this task. You write the interface, you write the class, write the dependencies in a static way, and call this method to implement your factory. All that. Only that. It's very simple. Okay. This is the method that the class that I will test. So to begin, I will borrow my definition of Mocha, Chai, Sign-on, Sign-on Chai. Sign-on Chai is the version of Sign-on for Chai assertions. My Angular definition. My Angular mocks. Angular mocks is a special package provided by the Angular team to mockups certain things that are important for the framework. Also, I need to import the module, the service that I will test. Because I am using this notation, I need to provide the complete root of my service. Angular 2 will provide a better way to do these things. Another major motivation to write Unicron is to write a code that will be easily migrated to Angular 2, because we need to be prepared to the new Angular, because the new Angular is very different than Angular 1. But if we write the code in a modular way, it will be more easily to overcome the migration. And also I will need to reference my HTTPQ service. Okay. So how we start a video style? We need to describe the things that we will that we will test. I am using this notation. This notation is called arrow notation. It is from TypeScript. It's almost the same that that send a function, but has different meaning in different contexts that I will explain later. But for practical meanings, for this moment, it's like a function. The first thing we need because we are testing a service, we need to have a reference to the following service: HTTP backend. HTTP backend is a service provided by the Angular team that provide a way to mock up our backend. If we don't have this service, we need to use other objects to not to not impact our backend in our test, because if we impact our test, will be an integration test. I will use my response, a fixed response, because I am using stops.
You may have said this, Dante, but how does brackets know about how are you getting IntelliSense?
I have IntelliSense because I have the plugin for TypeScript in brackets. You can have the same in Sublime. Sublime, in fact, has a better plugin for TypeScript than brackets. Also, you could choose use WebStorm. I choose brackets because when when I started, the TypeScript community has a major problem with the version 1.4 because almost all the things written for TypeScript was for the 1.0 version. That crashed WebStorm, for example, ReCharper, for example. So I choose bracket because in that time it was more easy to work with TypeScript. And expires.
You got a typo on 14.
Okay.
Dante, you got a typo on 14. Okay.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. Yes. If it was JavaScript, that was not spotted. This is yes, this is a cool thing from TypeScript. Thanks. And my login service, that is implementing the interface. Is like I am following the same principle that we followed in C#, and With these variables, we can begin with the first hook that Mocha provides us to write the unit test. Before each is a code that will be executed before all the tests, before any test. So when you have a lot of tests, this code will be performed before each test. Yes. Angular gives you this module called module to perform the dependency injection to load the. I need to load the module where the service is defined. Is the first thing that I needed to do. I will write another before each, and I will use another hook provided by Angular that is called inject. Inject, it's a service that is calling the dependency injector. So with inject, I can have my a reference of my variable of my dependencies of the service, and also I can change my dependencies because I need to mock my dependencies to only test the thing that I need because I am not performing an integration test. So I will call it this service HTTP backend with this notation. This notation, with this symbol, Angular will cut this symbol and call the correct provider for us because I need to better. I need to my test will be more easily read. So I have this variable. So with this notation, I could only assign this thing to my variable. ng. Yes. This is the same way that I am register my service. Sorry. Okay. So login service. I have the following problems. TSLint is say that I am missing the white space. TSLint is a better a way to ensure all code style. It's a popular way in JavaScript world, commonly implemented with GSC and GSint. And TypeScript is called TSHint also. And is calling user response is not used. Don't worry. Okay, the following hook provided by Mocha is after each. After each is executed after each test. I need to write the following code always that I am testing a service. It's called this is a canonical call boilerplate code you see because because we are we need to manually perform the root and the backend flush that we are when we are writing code for production with real code. Angular do that for us, but because we are in unit tests, we need to to do that in manually. Okay.
Does TypeScript require the semicolons?
Yes. JavaScript is a TS-lint way rule. Why? Uh, this uh, this is the first unit test. Sure. Sure. I am writing my arrow function. The arrow function is important because if you write a function, you are isolating the scope of the function. With the arrow function, TypeScript will save the this reference for my. In that way, I could use that in my inner scope. Okay. I will run first my test because I want to write in a CI fashion my unit test because I want to see that my all my test is running. All my test is running successfully. Visual Studio is a child in Node world. Visual Studio doesn't have the proper integration with Node package. The last week, the tools for Node and for Visual Studio are in a stable fashion, if you call it, because are very new. But I prefer to write my frontend in another IDE because that. Maybe with the 2015 version, they will overcome that. In fact, if you see presentation of the TypeScript people, the wool people, they don't use Visual Studio. They use or WebStorm or Sublime. In fact, Microsoft wrote a plugin very nice for Angular 2 for Sublime. So if you are using Visual Studio for write front end, you will lose a lot of things. Okay. Sorry? I don't. Yes, yes. Also, in fact, I have some templates from brackets. You can choose that in Sublime. You could write in WebStorm also. It's your choose. In fact, exists a library for that. Okay. I will mock my request. I will write the email that I need to be sent. Okay. Now, this part is very important because in this line, I will set up my mock HTTP because I need to be sure about my interaction. So I will say that when the HTTP backend receives a call for login in the method of post with my request right here, I will respond with the following, with my user request. My user response, sorry. And with that in place, I will write my promise.
You dropped out of the Hangout. When you go back into the Hangout, you dropped out of the Hangout.
How I?
Go back to Slack. Click on the link.
Okay.
Then you have to share your screen again.
Okay.
No. Use that mic.
For service returns a promise. I need yes. The service returns a promise. I need the promise are asynchronous call, and I need for better understanding of my test that my promise will be synchronous call because the synchronous call is more easy to read and maintain. So what I will do is the following. First, I will write my interaction with the subject under test, that is my login method. And I will expect a result that can be of any kind. Any is a special word in the TypeScript word to sign out a code that comes from JavaScript because JavaScript doesn't have a type. Any is a word like object. Anything fits in any variable. So okay, bien. So my promise will have will return data that will be I need to save in result, and I will perform my HTTP flush to allow the execution of this code. Without this line, the promise will not be executed. In that way, my promise is a more asynchronous way of code, and I will expect that my result dot name to be equal than my user response dot name. Okay, tslin is say that I need a type here. This problem arise when I updated a couple of days ago my libraries of Angular. Currently, they are changing the libraries, but this is not a problem that will affect our execution. It's a problem. It's a problem with the promise libraries. Maybe even it's a bug. So, with that in place, sorry, I need to. I am reloading the service. Mm, sorry. Mm, my standard request. I have the answer here. I have a kind of typo error. Here it is. Sorry, I have a problem with the name of the variable. But with that in place, all my unit test is working now. For the second explanation, I will perform a unit test for the controller. Yes, because of that, I will explain the controller way. Okay. The first thing when I write a controller in TypeScript is I write an implementation. I am extending the scope of the Angular package because um, the common way to put things on the scope is performing a kind of monkey patching. Um, in Angular, there is not monkey patching. So I declare an interface that extends by itself the ng scope of Angular, and the class of the controller use I am using the VM notation also because this is the better way to write controllers in Angular using the VM notation. It's called control has notation. And I am using the same inject way to inject my dependencies. I am performing the constructor. I declare in private my dependencies because in that way will be used in my class. And I register the controller in this way. It's almost the same. So when I write a controller test, it exists a canonical way. Always I load before my module where it's declared. I use my inject service also, and I inject the controller service and I root scope service because the controllers are not created like the services or the fabrics. The controller are created by the root scope. So I need these these 3 lines to accomplish the injection of the controller. After that, I could proceed in the same way that I proceed with the service. I am using stops because I am using sign-on also in this code. And when I perform works on the controller, I only call this method root scope apply to perform manually the digest process. And that is all. I expect currently Unicron is almost because only have left two features from Starscream, and I expect to be done soon if I have the time. But if any of you want to contribute with Unicron, will be nice. It will be a better way to learn TypeScript also and understand the new development process.
Question.
Please.
So is there, I noticed that there was a lot of like bootstrapping code that you have to do in each specification to get it to work with Angular. But
Yes.
I guess otherwise it's just like testing any other JavaScript module where you're getting an instance of the module or of the function or the class. You're injecting its dependencies. From that point, it seems like it's just normal JavaScript testing.
Yes.
But there's a lot of bootstrapping that's going on. So my question is there a way to somehow extract or abstract that that bootstrapping code so that you don't have to have it duplicated in each unit test?
Yes, exists a way, but do you have to balance the read of your code your respect because do you not, don't need all the dependencies of of an object. I am only injecting the things that I need, and it's a small thing because only these 2 dependencies and maybe the queue service is needed to test my controller module. It's a few. It's not in certain way. I don't need to test, for example, my toaster service. No, Angular inject that for you. But yes, exists a way. But I prefer to state what I need.
Other than just looking at the specs, is there a resource that shows how Angular things like Angular services and controllers and directives can be unit tested?
Yes, the Angular documentation is plenty of unit tests. They explain a topic and they also explain how to test it because the Angular team is very focused on the unit test style. And also maybe depending of the topic, they provide a protector way to test. This is an end-to-end to test.
Any other questions?
Okay.